Well, let's return now to the Nine Network's $700,000 secret payment to a witness who threatened to tell a judge about their unethical conduct. Well, joining me now is retired Special Forces Major Heston Russell. Heston, thank you very much for joining us. Look, can you actually believe Nine sought to cover this up for 50 years?
G'day, Sharri. It's pretty extraordinary, isn't it? Particularly when we're dealing with such a critical topic and how, freedom of speech and freedom of media is such a huge part of these conversations. $700,000 and trying to keep it quiet for 50 years. Everyone wants to know, what was she going to say?
I just want to play you again. I played it early in the show, a snippet of Nick McKenzie, the Nine journalist, admitting that he'd obtained part of Ben Roberts-Smith's legal strategy and had breached his own ethics.
Actively, briefing us on his legal strategy in respect of you. No, I shouldn't tell you. I've just breached my ethics in doing that. This is where, this is put me in a shit now.
Heston, what's your reaction to that?
I mean, Sharri, you know where I sit with this war crimes public defamation piece. Ben Roberts-Smith has never been convicted, let alone charged of a war crime, and he's lost a civil defamation case with the standards of proof not even beyond reasonable doubt. And now part of the process, we're learning they're willing to spend nearly double what the ABC had to pay me for failing their defamation against me to silence one of their witnesses. I would love to know what else has gone on behind the scenes that has gone into targeting Ben in this civil defamation case.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point you bring up. Look, I caught it before that they chose to play dirty. That's how I described it earlier, paying this hush money payment to a witness who had made these damaging allegations. But what happened to you as well? A different media company, also one of the left, the ABC, adding extra gunshots.
These are the conversations I had with the Veterans Affairs Minister, Matt Keogh. You know what he said to me? He's like, because I asked just for these to be played out in criminal court, beyond reasonable doubt, a jury of our own peers. And his response to me was, what do I say to the likes of Nick McKenzie or Chris Masters, who will say I'm impeding on their freedom of media? At what point do we as a country say, hey, we're accusing people we send over to fight and die on the back of a royal commission into defence of veteran suicide? Surely they should be allowed due process beyond reasonable doubt in a criminal court. And now when we have the methods and tactics that have gone on behind the scene, as you broke last year with these recording interviews, with the journalist himself saying he's compromised his ethics, sure, people might not have broken the law the right way it's currently written, but we are targeting soldiers at home, and their only defence is to take people to a civil defamation proceedings. And as a part of those proceedings, if you have enough money, you can throw $700,000 to silence a witness, and who knows what she might have said for or against this case.
Just putting this into context, you mentioned how Australian soldiers have been investigated for how many years now? Is it 7 years? Is it longer? Is it 10 years for war crimes? No resolution. Started with the Brereton report. There's still other inquiries. No one knows where it's up to. So, Heston, what do you think about the fact that the Royal Commission into Bondi was given less than a year to report, but that Australian soldiers who put their life on the line fighting for our country have been investigated for 7, 10 years and it's still ongoing?
Jari, I'm so disgusted by this whole situation. We first deployed Afghanistan, 2001. Some of your viewers watching this might not have been alive when we first deployed, and we're still raking people through the coals. The government has spent hundreds of millions of dollars on the Office of the Special Investigator to have one person charged, no one convicted. And yet look at things like what happened at the Bondi massacre and how our intelligence resources and police resources should be tracking people on known terrorist registers, travelling to known terrorist locations. It's shocking for me as a fifth-generation veteran to see where our government is putting its priorities, investing its money and pursuing these avenues as opposed to supporting our veterans, where we've had our own Royal Commission identifying that's more needed. And again, as far as the 1 year cap on Bondi, I think we all just know that's a political play so that the Prime Minister and others can just say, oh, we'll wait for those findings. We'll push that can down the road because we're not good with answering the hard questions that Australians want to know, while their media team prepares their statements for them off the back of it. That's my opinion anyway.
you know, as you just said, they're investing resources, investigating Australian veterans, rolling out the red carpet for ISIS brides. Unbelievable. Heston Russell, thank you very much for your time.